So what we are talking about today, obviously, as you know, you signed up for the webinar, we're going to talk about some website suggestions that are going to help improve lead generation. A lot of these are best practices. They're either website or online best practices that we suggest to our clients to help boost their website, boost their firm awareness, and really just overall help improve your lead generation. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Callie Bransford. I am the web team manager here at Build Your Firm. I see a lot of really familiar faces and, well, familiar names in the attendees box. But for those of you that I haven't chatted with before, I am the one who helps to manage the team that builds and maintains your website, as well as all of the tools that come with your website. So your file sharing tool, newsletter tool, all of that. And I'm also the one who helps to do the local listing and content marketing for our content marketing in a box clients and our outsourced marketing clients. So do a little bit of everything, which is why this will be a good webinar to go over, because we're sort of talk about your website, and then we'll talk about some additional things you can do with your website to help boost lead generation, like I said. So let's go ahead and get started here. We are going to go through this presentation of these website and online suggestions, and then I will open it up to a Q&A. I'm thinking the presentation might take somewhere around 15 or 20 minutes. This is the first time I've done this webinar, so I don't know exactly how long it'll take us to get through it. But then I've set aside some time to go through a Q&A session. If you guys have any questions about any of the things that I go over, any of the suggestions, any of the things that I bring up, you have any questions, we will open it up to questions at the end. Feel free to pop questions as you have them into the chat bar. Just know that I will save all of your questions till the end, and we'll do all questions at the end. But you can put them in there whenever you think of them throughout the presentation. There is a handout available for this presentation. You can locate it in your GoToWebinar widget. There should be a drop-down that says handouts, and there is a PDF in there that you can go ahead and download. It has a list of all of the suggestions we're going to go over, as well as some instructions about Google Business and Yelp, which we're going to talk about in today's webinar. But with all of that housekeeping stuff being said, let's go ahead and just jump into this. So what we're going to be really covering is all of the items that you could say would lead you down the road to website success. So we're going to be covering all of these things that are really going to help boost your website even more, help boost your firm awareness online. And so the first thing that I will bring up is SEO. In order for a website to be successful, it needs to be easy to find in search engines like Google, Yahoo, and Bing. And so to do that, your site needs to have something called SEO, which stands for Search Engine Optimization, and it has to do with a website's ability to show up in search results. Search engine ranking pages, which are also sometimes called SERPs for short, like Google, Yahoo, and Bing, want to show their searchers what they think are going to be the absolute best sites for specific queries at the top of the search pages. Their job is really just one thing, and it's to show the very best results to their searches. So they take it really seriously, and they have this really, exhaustive algorithm to do that. And that's why when you type something into a search engine like accounting firms in New Haven, Connecticut, the search engine will then show you what it thinks is the most relevant and valuable search query results to you. And like I said, in order to do this, they have this algorithm that takes into account so many things when it decides what pages it's going to show. It thinks about content and keywords, as we all know, or as most of us know when it comes to SEO, but it's also a lot of other things like design, structure, domain authority, a lot of other stuff that you probably don't want to even have to worry about. And luckily for you, this first suggestion is something that's taken care of for you as a Build Your Firm website client. We take the time to search engine optimize all of our websites to make sure that you're improving your search engine rankings, reaching more business, and selling more of your accounting services. And it doesn't matter what level of hosting you have with us. If you're not sure, SEO is included with all of our websites at no additional fee. So this is something that you already have. It's definitely the first step and one of the most important pieces of having a real successful website that's doing something for you. And by being a Build Your Firm customer, you know that one's always checked off, and you never need to worry that your SEO isn't there or your website's not optimized. All right, let's move a little further down this road. The next thing that we'll cover is website features. And what I mean by this is there's a number of items that you might want to make sure you have added to your website if they aren't already there. A great looking website and a website that's easy to use means that it's easier for your user to use it, and it makes them a lot more likely to pick up the phone when they can find what they're looking for, when it's easy to navigate. So let's cover what some of these website suggestions are and why they're important. So the first thing that you want to make sure you do is you have a site that's easy for your website users to use. When somebody lands on your site, it's easy for them to use it, and it's easy for them to find what they're looking for. You want to make sure that your contact information is easy to be found. You want your phone number to be at the top of every page, whether somebody's on the home page, they're on an inside page, no matter where on the website someone is or what device they're viewing it on, they should be able to contact you right away. They should be able to see your phone number so that they can take action. You can see here on this example website that I have that the phone number is clearly right at the top of the page. And even if this person were looking at this website on an iPad or an iPhone, you can still easily access the phone number for this website. It makes it really simple and easy for your users to get in touch with you, your prospective clients to call you if they want to, no matter what. And on top of just having the phone number, we want to make sure that the rest of your contact information is available as well. So we want to make sure that your contact us link and a link to your free consultation or your complimentary consultation for your website is in a really easy place to find in your main navigation, so that's showing up across whatever page somebody is on. That way you're sort of covering both bases. Some clients just like to pick up the phone and call, and some people just like to chat online, and they might want to send you an email or fill out a consultation form. So that way you're sort of reaching both people no matter what type of action they're looking to take. You just want to make sure that you're making it really easy as possible for your prospective clients to find what they need so that you can avoid them getting frustrated and clicking off of your website. The next feature that we usually suggest you consider adding to your website is a bio and a headshot. Making a really strong first impression is part of building your accounting firm into a brand. And the first impression really goes a long way towards defining someone's perception of you and your firm. So in this day and age, you really have to think that a lot of work is being done behind the computer screen. A lot of searching for services is being done behind the computer screen. So getting to see an actual photo and know that this is a real person and read a little bit more about you can really do wonders for helping a prospective client feel more comfortable to call your office. It gives that level of trust. They can see that there's a real face and a real person behind this website, which before might have felt a little bit anonymous. If you don't already have a bio or an image, a headshot on your website, adding one is really, really simple. You just need to email us here at Build Your Firm, send us your bio, send us your picture, and we can go ahead and get it updated for you. The work on your end would just be the bio and the photo, and then we can add it for you, no problem. If you don't already have it on there, it's something that we can add for you very quickly, and it really does make a big impact for new people on your website who are getting to know your firm, somebody who's maybe a prospective client thinking about possibly calling you or doing business with you. Final thing you might want to consider adding to your website is something that we call a lead magnet. So a lead magnet is something that's considered really just like an irresistible item or an opt-in that offers a specific value to a prospect. And in exchange, they have to give you their email information for it. So it could be something like an ebook. It could be something like a free QuickBook file review or a checklist or a tax organizer. The goal of the lead magnet is to generate leads and capture their information at the time that they're browsing your website so that they don't leave your website and you never were able to capture their information so that you could hopefully draw them back in to become a client. So let's look at an example of this so you can sort of see what I mean. On this website you see on my screen now, it's a website for obviously a niche dental accounting website. It's a dental accounting specific site, and so the majority of the people that are going to be on this site, who have searched for it, who have clicked through to it, are going to be dentists, new dentists, dental practice owners, and so on. So the lead magnet used on this website is an ebook. You can see it's an ebook called The First Few Transitions as a New Dentist, and it talks about all the things that new dentists need to know. It shows them how to know when it's a good time to become their own boss, how to choose a location for their practice, how to benchmark their practice, and so on. The most important thing is that this lead magnet is designed specifically for the type of person who would be on this website, and it's irresistible or something that addresses the prospect's pain point. So in this point, obviously, we're trying to get the new dentist, and we're trying to answer the questions that they might be wondering. They're thinking about starting their practice, maybe they just did, and this has answers to all of those questions they might be wondering, right? What do I do after dental school? How do I know where I'm supposed to purchase my practice? How do I benchmark my new practice? So you want to make something, like I said, that's just irresistible enough, and or it's addressing a pain point so that it's valuable enough that they're willing to give up their email address for it. So on this lead magnet, the way that it works is the user needs to enter their contact information below, as you can see, in order to download the ebook. So the accountant is growing a list of prospective clients, likely all new dentists, who would likely make really good clients. So choosing the right lead magnet for your firm might take a little bit of time. You might have to think about it. You might already know something that you have that would be a really great lead magnet. Like I said, it can be a variety of things, but what's most important is that it's going to offer high value to the type of people who are likely going to land on your website and to your prospective clients, or it's hitting a pain point for your prospective clients. It's answering questions that they might have. What we do on your website is we can integrate the lead magnet into your consultation form, like you can see it was done on this website. So it's a really easy thing to add to your site. Once you have the lead magnet, we can really easily integrate it into the site you already have with Build Your Firm. All right, moving on to our third suggestion. The next thing that we'll cover is a monthly email newsletter. Newsletter is really an extremely effective mode of communication. It's an ideal way to inform and guide your clients on things that they should be doing, whether you're helping them get ready for tax season, you need to remind them of deadlines, you need to let them know that something's changing in your practice. But it's also a really great way to start to build relationships with your prospective clients. Maybe they've signed up for your lead magnet, and now you can start sending them a little bit of information so you can start building up a relationship with them. By sending valuable newsletters, you can really position yourself as a knowledgeable professional who's also really easy to get in touch with. You're trusted, you're easily accessible. At the end of the day, a newsletter is really just an easy and cost-effective way to build relationships and maintain regular contact with your clients and prospects. As a website client, you can use the newsletter tool. It comes free with your website, so definitely very cost-effective. You don't need to pay anything extra for this. If you didn't know the newsletter tool was available to you, I taught another complete webinar all about this tool and best practices for and how to use it. And so you can definitely access that after this webinar. But essentially, it's just a newsletter tool that's going to allow you to import your contacts into it. You can organize them into mailing list categories, and then you can send them email newsletters and best practices sort of out on a schedule. The best thing I think about the newsletter tool, the one that our clients seem to really, really like, is that you can actually schedule a recurring newsletter to go out. So these newsletters are something you kind of just come in once and you set it up the way that you want it to work. You import your clients into it, and then your newsletter is going to go out automatically for you on a schedule that you choose on a with the types of articles that you want to send to your clients. So the way the newsletter tool works that's in your websites, it's actually connected to the content library. Another thing that you might not know is available in your website. But the content library is a library of articles. It's about 400 accounting and tax articles, all available with your website, and it integrates with the newsletter tool. So you don't need to be coming up with all of the content. You can see that here is all of the articles, and they are organized into different categories. So you can choose the categories that make sense for your prospective clients, your current clients, or the services that you're providing. And then you can set up a recurring newsletter to send out on the schedule schedule that you want, sending the types of articles you want. So if you work, mainly in QuickBooks, you can be sending them QuickBooks tips. If you don't do anything with individual tax, you don't need to be sending out individual tax. So it really gives you the option to customize it. Again, it's a really simple tool to use. If you want to do the recurring, it's just going to be a sort of one time. You're going to come in, import your contacts into the system, and then set up a recurring newsletter to go out, and you can kind of set it and forget it. You certainly can be much more custom with it if you want as well. If you want to cherry pick specific articles and you want to send out really custom newsletters, you can do that as well in the tool. But like I said, there's an entirely separate webinar all about this tool. If you need to learn a little bit more about it, you certainly could watch that and learn a little bit more about how that tool works. All right, moving right along here, we are going to move on to the next feature, which is local listings. Local listings are platforms that allow you to insert your business information and the physical address of your business. That's why they're local listings. They typically have a review function that's going to allow you to also obtain online reviews. So these would be platforms like Google My Business and Yelp. The information that you put onto these sites will work alongside the SEO that we've already built on your website. It's going to help to further elevate your presence online. What this is called is something called local search or local SEO, and the two pieces work together. So you have your local information, and it works with the SEO on your website. It does a couple of things for you. On top of just boosting your website's placement in search engines, you're also now going to be eligible to show up in what they call the local pack. So you see this on your screen. I'm sure you've seen this when you've been browsing on Google for any type of local business, brick and mortar business, local services in your area. The businesses that show up in the local pack are going to actually show up above any organic results. And it's going to show business information, business phone number, links to the website, all the information you want to see. You cannot show up in this local pack if you don't have a Google My Business account. We get this question a lot. People might see their information here or, wonder how to get in here, wonder how to edit it. This isn't actually related to your website. It's related to your Google My Business account. And that's how it works. So to get set up on Google My Business, if you haven't already, you just go to google.com/mybusiness to get started. In the handout that's available for this webinar, if you missed that, there is a handout available. And I think probably down on the third page or so, there is a step-by-step instruction for how to get set up on Google Business if you haven't yet. Or maybe if you did, but you can't remember how to get in because you need to make some changes. There is some instructions in the handout. And then getting set up on Yelp is pretty much the same. You're going to visit biz.yelp.com to confirm your business info. Once again, the last 2 pages of the handout that I provided for you, or maybe it's just 1 page, but it's the last little bit there, is going to walk you through step-by-step instructions on how to get set up on Yelp. Now, once you're set up on Yelp and Google Business, we usually suggest that you take some time to enter your information into something called Local Moz. Local Moz or Moz Local, what it does is it's going to take that information that you've put into Google Business and put into Yelp. It's going to take your business information. It's going to take your local location, your phone number, all of that contact information that prospective clients would need, and it's going to push it out to all of the major, what we call data aggregators. This is sites like Bing, like Foursquare, like City Search, Apple Maps, Siri, Super Pages. It's going to push all of your information out for you. So not only is it going to do all that work for you, but it's also going to ensure that your business listing is correct and consistent across the web, which is really important to search engines. If they see discrepancies, they see, your business name done 4 different ways with 2 different addresses because you moved last year, and a different phone number because you changed that a couple years ago. Those are all things that could potentially impact where you get shown in the search engines or how likely you are to get suggested. So making sure that your information is really consistent is really key as well, on top of just being pushed out to all of these data aggregators. There is a one-time fee to do local MAs. It is an annual thing, but I just say, unless you've changed any of your business information, 1 year is plenty. It's a one-time fee of $100, but it's really well worth the investment. Like I said, gets your business your local business information pushed out to all of those local listing websites, and then it's going to ensure that it's consistent. It's going to ensure that it was done correctly. And it's just going to further elevate your placement online. The final thing you want to do once you get your local listings done is work to actively get reviews on your 2 local listings. This is probably the step that I see the most of our clients sort of stop at. Having reviews on your local listings is important for a couple of reasons. Firstly, statistics show that more than 80% of consumers are going to read any online review before they decide to call someone to do business with them. Whether they're going to purchase a product, they're going to call someone to do business with them, they're going to convert to get services done by a local business. People are reading reviews. So taking the time to get positive reviews on these 2 sites, Yelp and Google Business, is going to immediately give prospective clients that little piece of trust and confidence that they would need to go ahead and call you. When somebody's looking at your business next to somebody else's, and even if the person next to you only has 3 reviews, but at least they can read those reviews, they're going to have more confidence in that other business because they're able to read that little bit of information about them. The next thing it does is Google actually will give more weight to Google business accounts that have reviews, especially in that local pack that we talked about. So this just means you're more likely to show up in the local pack, and overall it's just going to sort of push you up a little bit higher in the queue. All right, moving on to our next suggestion for lead generation, and that is to develop a social presence, meaning social media. Even though all of you are on mute right now, I kind of feel like I can hear a collective groan when I mention social media. I know developing a social media presence is something that a lot of our clients tend to sort of put off, or they start it and then, it gets pushed to the side because you just don't really have the time. I totally understand that. It's not to say that you have to have social presence online to be successful, but it definitely will help. The truth is, having a social presence will elevate your overall online presence. So to prove that, let's just look at some numbers really quickly here. So 88% of the US is an active internet user. You can see this chart is showing just stats from the United States from January of 2017. As of that time, 88% of the US was active on the internet, and 66% of the population was active on social media. And you got to remember that people are not just using social media to play Farmville and thumbs up pictures of their friends anymore. People use social media for a lot more. They're using it to interact with companies. They're using it to assess products and services before they buy it, and a lot more. But even more powerful than these numbers that you see on your screen right now is actually the growth of these numbers. Let's just look at this graph really quick. This is going to show the annual growth. So they've measured growth from January of 2016 to January of 2017. The amount of active internet users has grown by 10% in 1 year. And even more astounding than that, the growth of active social media users has grown by 21%. In just 1 year. We're talking just 1 year. So, just kind of thinking about the future, that's going to continue to grow. Your clients and your prospective clients are on social media. So by taking a little bit of time to develop a social online presence, you can really reach out to them where they already are, and it's going to help increase the awareness of your firm. Like I mentioned, it's just a way for people to look for services. It's a way for people to get to know you a little bit better. The way that people are looking for services online nowadays is really very different, even than it was just a few years ago. It's changing really rapidly. And it's harder for someone to feel like they can trust someone over the internet because there's that anonymity behind the computer screen. So when they can not only see your professional website that we built for you, it's built with SEO, it looks really great, they can see your services, they can then read a couple of reviews that you got on your Google business, and then they can also see some recent posts that you might have put on social media. Maybe you posted an interesting article about the tax deadline or even a picture of the staff in your firm. It just builds up that trust and that authority, which ultimately is going to help lead to them taking action, which ideally is them calling your firm or requesting to get a free consultation or requesting, more information about your services. It's all just these little pieces that continue to build up that authority and continue to build up that trust so that somebody feels confident to pick up the phone and to call you. Our second to last item we will cover is a blog. A blog does a couple of things that will help your lead generation on your website. So let's just go over those really quick. So the first thing that a blog is going to help do is boost your SEO. The major search engines like Google and Bing and Yahoo really give high priority to websites that are regularly offering a steady stream of fresh, relevant content produced by a blog. By having a blog that lives on your site, you're meeting this criteria, so you're boosting your SEO. Next thing a blog is going to do is it's really just going to further increase the places that you might show up when someone goes to the internet to search for your types of services. People may land on a blog post you wrote because they were searching about something you wrote about. That's going to lead them to your services. It really just acts as another funnel for leads. Lastly, having a blog with valuable content is going to help you gain a competitive edge and display your knowledge and authority in the field. It really allows you to showcase the subject matter of expertise, something you know a lot about because this is what you do, while developing your identity and your brand personality. Now, I know that a lot of you are saying this sounds really great, but I do not have the time to write blog posts. That's really time consuming. If you didn't know, we offer articles for you to use for your blog. So like I mentioned briefly when we talked about the newsletter system, you also have access to the content library. Content library lives on your client dashboard. If you've never been to your client dashboard, we can help you get to that at the end of the webinar. But when you get to your client dashboard, you'll see access to the content library. This probably got added sometime last year, so if it's been a little while since you've logged in, you'll see it in there now at the top. This is all of those articles, those tax and accounting articles that are available for you as a website client. You can push them out to your newsletter, you can push them out to social media, and you can also use them in a blog, so you're not stuck having to come up with all of the content. So the way that it works is once you choose an article that you want to use, there is this little HTML icon next to every article, which is going to pull up something that looks like what you see on your screen. This is essentially the article just in HTML form. You don't need to be techie to do this. If you're not techie and you're looking at this like it looks really confusing, I promise it's not. You really actually just copy this and then paste it into your blog. So it's just a great way to get some content on your blog. This is all really great. These are tax and accounting articles, QuickBooks tips that you can immediately put to your blog. If you just want to post them out and you never want to think about them again, that's fine. Or you can use them as a starting point. So you don't have to come up with all of the content, all of the meat of the post. You can just add an intro, you can add an outro, you can personalize it a little, and you got a blog post ready to go. If you are interested a little bit more about blogging, I am hosting a webinar, I think it's November 14th, but I will send you guys that link after this, where we're going to go over really blogging a lot more in depth, not just the benefits of it, but just give you, some basic one-on-one for blogging so you can feel a little more confident getting into your blog and posting, and you can see that it really doesn't have to be that time consuming to do it. All right, so the final thing that we will talk about, and then we will jump into your questions, is going to be pay-per-click. Pay-per-click is a form of advertising. And the way that it works is it provides you with premium placement towards the top of search engine result pages for targeted keywords in your local geographic market. So it is a form of advertising, it is a cost, but the way that it works is these targeted keywords are what your prospects are typing into search engines, right? When they're looking for local accounting firms, just like they are when you're, just like they type in words and you can show up organically with your SEO. What pay-per-click is going to allow you to do is it's going to allow you to secure very top placement much faster than organic search engine optimization will. Typically, when you sign on for a pay-per-click campaign, it can get up and running in usually less than a week, usually a couple of days. Well, as a lot of you might know, organic search engine optimization can take several months or longer, especially depending on the size of your market, if you're in a really competitive market. So what it's going to do is it's just going to immediately and rapidly put you right at the top. At Build Your Firm, we've been doing pay-per-click campaigns services for accountants for, I think, well over 12 years now, long before, other people were doing it for the industry. So we have a lot of really good keyword research, ad copy testing that we've done, and we know how to monitor the constant changes to Google advertising platforms so that we can really deliver on our pay-per-click campaigns. Now, the second part of pay-per-click is to have something called retargeting advertising. Retargeting advertising is going to be a graphic-based ad. So it would be branded for your firm. It's something that we create for you here in-house. Our graphic designer would create an ad for you that would have your branding. But what's different about this is it's only going to be delivered to prospects who have previously visited your website. So when somebody visits your site, they get added to a list, and then over the next 30 days, they're going to see your ad. What it does is it reinforces your firm name, your services, your message, and it really seeks to pull them back in again. It's important to remember that 98 to 99% of online shoppers do not purchase or convert into clients on their first visit to a website. I hear a lot of clients talk about, they look at the traffic, they look at people who have come to their website, and they say, I had hundreds of people come to my website this month, or even 100 different people came to my website this month. How come nobody called me? You have to remember that if it's their first time on your site, they're a lot less likely to convert. So by having this retargeting advertising, it's just a really effective way to keep your brand name, to keep your services, to keep your information right in front of prospects who were just very recently shopping for the accounting services that you provide. And it brings those window shoppers back when they're ready to engage, when they're ready to convert and turn into clients. So really, when done together, pay-per-click advertising and retargeting advertising can be pretty powerful, because the pay-per-click is going to bring in new leads, when the retargeting advertising will then seek to draw them back in when they're ready to convert. So let's see here. This pretty much completes our journey down the road of website success. Those were the main suggestions and features that I really wanted to go over in today's webinar. At this point, I will go ahead and open it up to any of your questions that you might have about anything that we covered. Even if it's something sort of off topic just a little bit, something that we talked about, any questions you have about blogging, about pay-per-click, about, Google Business, feel free to just let me know in the chat window and I will answer them for you. I will go ahead and actually put up an email address here so that you have it. If you have any questions after this, you've got your bio and your headshot ready, you want to get that up on your website, anything like that, support@buildyourfirm.com will always get you right to the web team. It's a good place to go. You certainly can always reach out directly to your website consultant, but just in case they're busy that day, go ahead and CC support@buildyourfirm.com, because that way, if your consultant is busy, somebody else on the team can help you. But let's go ahead and just jump into a couple of these questions that I see coming in here. First question I see is, how do I get into my client dashboard? So yeah, when I showed you how to use the newsletter tool, when I showed you the content library, that's all in something called your client dashboard. The URL for that is buildyourfirm.com/resources, but you do have to log into that. So if you haven't been there before, if that was something that looked totally new to you, and you don't have the login, go ahead and shoot us an email at support@buildyourfirm.com and we'll get you in to the dashboard. Like I said, that's the back end to your website. That's where all of your tools are. That's where you can access all of that stuff that we talked about. So if you don't have that information, it would have been in your welcome packet when your website went live, if you happen to have that hanging around. But if you don't have it, just shoot us an email. We're happy to help. Next question here. Somebody says that they have a white paper and they want to know how would they add it as a lead magnet to their website. So like I had briefly mentioned, it's something that we certainly can integrate for you through the consultation form that's on your website. The consultation form right now, what it does is, if you've had somebody fill out the consultation form, all of that information comes through to you via email. So what we would do is we would just go ahead and add your lead magnet. When somebody fills out the consultation form, they would then get access to that lead magnet. So it's something that we can easily add for you. Again, you can just reach out to any of us here, send us, the PDF, send us the ebook or whatever you're looking to use for the lead magnet, and we can go ahead and get it set up. It will always go through the consultation form. So if you're looking for something a little more custom, we may go ahead and shoot us an email. We can chat about it. But if you want something really custom, we'll sort of see if we can do it. But definitely the consultation form is the way that a lot of our clients use it, and it works pretty well. Question about this recording. Yeah, there is a recording of this webinar, so I will send that out to you guys so that you have it. It'll also be available in the client dashboard if you want to watch it later. I see a question about local Moz. This question is, why local Moz instead of Dex Media? I hear about Dex Media. I've also heard, I think the other one that people talk about is Yext. To be honest, I don't use either of those too much, or we don't use either of those here at Build Your Firm, just because local Moz has been so successful for our clients and the clients that we use it for. I know some of them will provide the services that local Moz does, and then on top of that, we'll do some other things like some social media posting or different pieces. Local Moz has a couple things. Moz is their entire brand, but local Moz is specifically for those local listings. So it's specifically going to go just through those local listings that you're going to need to get pushed out to, allow you to maintain them and make sure that they're consistent. So the main answer to your question, James, is I don't know enough about Dex Media to answer that question, but I know that Moz is the one that works really successful. It's the one that our clients have a lot of success using for that piece, for that local search piece. Question about having multiple office locations. I have multiple locations, so how do I set that up on my local listings and on my social media? So if you have multiple locations, you would claim every location on your local listings, but you wouldn't need to claim them all on social media. So what I mean is, say you have one firm, but you have 2 office locations. For any of the local listings, the local media, so this would be Google Business, this would be Yelp, you would claim both addresses. So you would make sure that you're claiming both of your locations. But as far as social media, just like with your website, depending on kind of where your offices are, assuming they're not states and states apart, you would just set up one social media for both for your brand name. So if it's a local listing, you would do it for both, but if it's not, then you can go ahead and do it just for your brand information. It looks like that is it. One last question here about getting set up for a blog. Yeah, if you want to do any blogging, we can help you do that. We can install a new blog for you on your website, or we can convert a blog over to your website if you have one hanging around somewhere that you want to get converted over. Just get in touch with us, give us a call or shoot us an email, and we can definitely get you set up on a blog and get you going. That is one of the services we provide, so you don't need to look elsewhere if you don't want to. We can certainly get you set up doing that if you want. But it looks like that is it for the questions. Again, support@buildyourfirm.com if you think of anything, if you need help with any of these features that we went over. I will be sending you guys an email here in maybe an hour, and I will try to pop the recording in there if I can get it uploaded in time. If not, you'll see another email from me a little bit later with a recording to this webinar. And I'll also put it up on the client dashboard as well so that you can always have access to it. I appreciate you guys taking the time to hang out with me here for about 45 minutes today. And I will talk to you all soon. I hope that this webinar sort of got you going, thinking about a couple things that maybe you can add that can help you out. But again, if you have any questions, if you need anything, we're always here for you. So I will talk to you all outside of the webinar.